What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this channel. In today's video, I've got a very special guest joining me, and we're going to be going over our approach to Gameweek 30, FA Cup fixtures, chip strategy, and if you stick around to the end, I have an updated wildcard draft, which I'm absolutely sure you guys will love. But before we go too much further, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, it would mean so much to me, and I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. So today, guys, we have a special guest. We're joined by FPL Mandem. FPL Mandem's on TikTok. A very good friend of mine. We've been talking for a few months now, and hopefully it's going to be a good conversation. FPL Mandem, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Doing good.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I mean, just relaxing. I've been a bit ill lately, which isn't ideal. It's not. Do you know what? FPL. I've had a little bit of a break from FPL as well, so it's been alright. It's been alright.
Yeah.
So Game Week 29, right? Game Week 29 was an interesting one for a lot of us. I'll tell you.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So I'll tell you what I got on. My team was actually not very good for a lot of this game week until that last game with Manchester United, where Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno.
Bruno Fernandes, I had him as captain, and he got
Lucky you.
34 points. 34 points. So I ended up on 60.
Lucky you.
I had 11 players that played, which was all right. And like I say, Bruno Fernandes. Let's go to your team. Let's talk about your team. So actually, 52 points. The average is 40, so it's actually a very good score. If you made that one decision, all of a sudden, changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, I made the last minute decision on the deadline. Brought in Marmoush, Bruno. Those were my 2 free transfers.
Yeah, Marmoush was a good shout.
I took a -4. I took a -4 hit to bring Huijsen, which didn't really pay off.
Yeah, Huijsen. I think with Huijsen, right? He's defense. He's not got a lot of good underlying stats going forward. But if you want to be involved in the Bournemouth defense, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I just saw him. He's cheap, and Bournemouth have really good fixtures, and I thought, why not bring him?
Yeah,
I mean, they're playing Ipswich next, so
yeah. So that's the thing, isn't it?
I think they can have a clean sheet. I really do.
Yeah, because you look like you tripled up. You tripled up on Bournemouth.
Yeah, I tripled up Kluivert, Kirkes, and Huijsen. I have Kirkes from like game week 5. Haven't sold him.
Yeah, you got a lot of value in Kirkes then, if that's the case, because he's gone up quite a lot.
Yeah, he's so cheap and he's so good. So before him, I had a pair, him and Robinson, 2 defensive players that play attacking football. So I think with these two, they got me a lot of points, but then I sold Robinson because he blanked like 3 or 4 game weeks.
Yeah.
And then he came back and returned 6 points with Tottenham, and yeah.
It's you know, it's interesting.
Another disappointment.
Yeah.
Another disappointment is Cells.
Oh, do you know what though?
I haven't watched the game.
How long have you had Cells?
Yeah, but he conceded 2 goals.
Yeah.
I'm really angry about it because they just let Ipswich score 2 goals.
I know. It's at one point I was looking at my team and I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna get some good points here, and then it's gone. Yeah. Because I had Cells and I've got Aina. Sorry, what was that?
I had Palmer in the lineup.
A lot.
And then he didn't play.
Yeah.
But my first sub was Gabriel with 5 points.
Yeah.
So that's good at least. I think he got 5 because of a yellow card or something.
Yellow card.
Yeah, I think he got a yellow card.
Yeah.
versus Chelsea. Yeah, yellow card.
Yeah, I think it was
So
yellow card.
it's okay game week. And the one biggest disappointment is Chris Wood.
Chris Wood. Yeah, do
He
you know
was my
what?
captain.
Yeah, he was your captain. I was looking at Chris Wood thinking, this week, surely this is the week. And
Yeah.
they scored so many goals, and it's just unreal how many
Yeah, not
goals
the
were
same
scored,
goal.
and Chris Wood just got nothing. He just was not.
Yeah, when you see Forest score 4 goals, you say
Chris Wood.
Wood had to be at least one involvement.
At least one. Do you know what? At
But
least one. And I because I had Aina, I was thinking, oh, Aina's going to get involved. No.
you know what? I wanted to sell Kevin Schade and bring Elanga, but
That would have
I
been the
got
move.
poisoned in
Yeah.
Robinson.
Yeah, that would have been the move. But you know what?
That would
All
be,
things said and done, 52 points, where the average is 40 on a blank game on a blank game week. I mean, it's not bad. And if you just made one decision and went with Bruno Fernandes captain, all of a sudden, you've gone up to what, 69 points. It changes everything. So you've actually had a decent week. It could have gone worse.
yeah, it has been decent, but it could have been better. But
Oh, 100%.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what? It's
Next
one of
week,
those where things can always
I'll
be
come
better.
back stronger.
Yeah, things can always
So
be better, but things can definitely be worse. And trust me, I know all about that. I was doing so well up until about game week 25, 26. I was 500k, 600k. So it's all right. I'm making moves, and then I had 3 bad weeks on the row, 1.2 million.
yeah, and these last 4 game weeks, so 29 to 26,
Yeah,
those 4 game weeks have been really bad. But
yeah,
I have been in really bad form. From game week 17 to game week 25, I had 9 green arrows, big
that's
green
nice.
arrows, 9 in a row. Then game week 26, I fell off 300k, and I fell off for those 100k every game week. The bigger gap is, and this game week 29, I got a green arrow, but it hasn't been that big.
Nah,
I jumped from 2,663k to 2,600k. So it's
yeah,
60k.
66. Yeah,
So this game week wasn't what I expected, but those moves on the deadline really saved me. So yeah.
the thing is, what you've got here, we're going into the next kind of final sprint of the season. Not many games left. What's like 10 games or so left of the
Yeah.
season? No, 10 games. We got game week 30 to 38. So it's not long. It's really, really not long left. I think it's 2 months, isn't it? 2 months of Premier League football. And fixtures are going to be condensed. They're going to be really close together. People are going to forget their teams. Just people aren't playing at this point. There's a lot of room to go up in the ranks, and I think this is where people who are still paying attention, like yourself, will be able to get quite a lot of ranks within the next like 8 or so games. So yeah, should we move on? I'm just curious. So I spoke to you yesterday. You were telling me you've already made a transfer.
Yes, madam. Made my one and only free transfer.
Yeah. Isak.
And
Isak
yeah,
in.
Isak.
Isak in for better.
I got Isak for battle. Yeah. So last game week, Isak wasn't playing, and I had 3 players on my bench that blank.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to sell one of them. And I saw Barbouche. He has a really good game week.
Yeah.
And I planned that I sell Isak,
Mm-hmm.
get Marmouche in, and the next game week, sell Beto because of the really bad fixtures and really bad form. Get Isakim back.
Yeah.
It did cost me 0.4 million more to bring Isak.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, it's not the hard part because I have money, but the problem is the good thing is that I think I can have a lot of points this game week. The biggest for my attack, and I have only 2 players that play away, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
let's go on to your
Bruno,
team. Let's have a
yeah,
quick look at what your team looks like for this week.
yeah,
So, what I can see here, you've got Sal's in goal. You've
yeah.
got obviously Huijsen and Kirkes playing Ipswich, which is quite a nice little game there.
At
Gabriel
home,
against
yeah.
Fulham. Yeah, Gabriel against Fulham. Munoz, Southampton. That is very nice. I like that a lot, Munoz, because he's a very, very attacking, isn't he? It's very attacking.
He is. He is currently one of the most popular,
Yeah,
if not the most popular,
he's very
player
popular.
in the
Yeah.
teams.
So Munoz, last I saw is like 20% owned or something like that. So you think as a defender,
He is
especially Crystal Palace,
15.7%
is
owned.
a 15.7. Yeah, he's quite
Yeah.
highly owned for, especially being a Crystal Palace defender. So who else do you have? Yeah, you've got Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. Now tell me, I'm curious. I've been speaking to a few different content creators about this, and I'm curious to see what you have to say. What do you think about Bruno Fernandes over the next 3 game weeks?
Over the next 3 game weeks.
Yeah.
So I think he has Forest, City, and then Newcastle.
Forest, Newcastle, City, I think. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
those
yeah.
three. It's those three in the next 3.
Yeah. So I see him scoring versus Forest. City, I'm not that confident. Newcastle too. I think he's not going to be that much in those freaking weeks, but as an asset, I mean, Manchester United have good fixtures after those 3. They have Wolves, Brentford, West Ham, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think there's no rush in selling him and then get him back.
Yeah, I see what
I
you're
think
saying.
you should keep him as an asset and as an investment for those game weeks that will come.
Yeah, it's
Plus,
funny.
he's in good form.
Yeah, it's funny because I have him in my team, right? And
Yeah.
I haven't had him for long. I just had him one game week, and he's already gone up. Like I think it's 0.2 million or 0.3 million. So he's actually gone up quite a lot in a very, very short amount of time. A lot of managers have brought him in, which is interesting to me because I look at the next 3 game weeks and I think it doesn't make sense to me. He's like, if we go over a couple of things, his expected goals, non-penalty, 0.14 expected goals, like non-penalty, right? His expected assists, and this is all over the last 5 game weeks, 90 minutes, right? So 0.14 expected non-penalty goals, 0.2 expected assists, and 0.14 expected goals. So that to me does not strike me as a player that's in good form, but that's expected. We're just talking about what he's doing in the game. But then you go to his actual goals, what he's actually doing, and his goals is 0.6 and his assists is 0.8. So talk about someone that's overachieving. And currently, Bruno Fernandes is way overachieving. But problem is, how long? How long can that last? How long can he really keep that up, bailing out Manchester United? And that's where I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not sure about Bruno Fernandes going forward.
Well, look, sometimes you gotta look of player in form, not just the game weeks, not just the games that are coming up.
Yeah.
It's not the you can, how do I say it? You have, let's take Cunha for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he got those big points in like 4 or 5 game weeks earlier this season.
Yeah, he did indeed. I remember that.
He didn't have that much of good fixtures, but he was in form and he delivered.
Yeah, yeah, he
Like
was in
with
form.
Wood, nobody expected Wood to be really good this season, and he
Wood's been
scored
special.
like
Yeah.
9 weeks in a row. Or
Wow.
Beto, you just have those players that are about form, not about wins. They
Yeah.
focus on their form. They focus on their individual performance, and that is for me. Since I got Bruno last game week against Leicester,
Yeah, you're gonna
I
hold
knew
him.
he had 3 game weeks, three bad weeks coming up.
Yeah.
But I looked at form. I mean, 10, 10, 9, and then 17 versus Leicester.
Yeah.
You can't expect him not to deliver in one of those 3 games that are coming up.
Yeah. I
I
see
think he
I
can
do
do
see it. I see the logic there. I see the logic there.
and you need to see him in at least 1 or 2 goal involvements in those Forest City or Newcastle games, because United are getting informed. I mean, they haven't lost a game in 4 weeks
Yeah.
in Premier League,
Yeah.
which is, I think, their longest run of not losing.
Oh, which is so
No,
sad.
it isn't, but
No, but it's sad because United's what they used to be to
for me, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Happy.
who do you support?
Liverpool,
Liverpool. Ah, love it.
yeah,
Liverpool.
since
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, man. To Liverpool. Liverpool
So
have had
Sadio
that
Mane and
season. Liverpool have had a season at the moment. Especially when you look at what honor slots. A lot of people thought Jurgen Klopp's out. You guys aren't gonna really. It's not your season.
yeah, I saw one interview. I think it was a Man United fan. He said Arne Slot will be sacked in 6 months.
Oh, yeah, this guy's gonna get a
That was
statue.
mental, yeah.
He'll get a statue by the end of the season if things go the way they're going. The only thing I would say is now that they've had a dip in form, they've is it a case? So I'm curious because you're a Liverpool fan. I'm curious to see what you think about this, right? Because I feel like all season, you guys have been bailed out by Mohamed Salah. There's been a lot of times in the season where you've almost lost the game or drawn a game, and Mohamed Salah just comes out with a bit of magic and then just wins the game for you, right? Now that people
Yes, he
seem
wins.
to be,
He wins games.
yeah,
That's him. He wins
yeah,
games, but it would be sad to see him leave next season. But back to your question, without Salah, I think I saw a picture, Liverpool standings, if it was just from Salah
yeah,
goal involvements, and Liverpool would be third or something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. It's actually
Uh,
crazy. He's had
that's crazy.
such,
That's crazy. He has a season of the life, but I don't think he will win the Ballon d'Or. I think generally Rafinha will,
that's interesting as
because
well.
I think Barcelona have a really good chance to win
Hmm.
Champions League, because their road to final will be so easy. I mean, they have way easier than Liverpool. Um,
Well,
I do
you mean you'd
see
argue
Barcelona
PSG?
and PSG
You'd argue
in the
PSG weren't
final.
exactly hard, but they took care of Mohamed Salah. They Nuno
Yes,
Mensch,
yes, yes.
he absolutely locked him down. There was nothing you could do, and then those three up top, Barcolo, Dembele, and is it Doué?
Gonzalo Ramos. Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, my friend, these guys caused you a lot of problems. They caused you a lot of. I think Gonzalo Ramos came on late, didn't he?
I knew when the first game was finished. I knew they're going to win at Anfield. I
Yeah,
just knew it,
yeah,
because
they were so
not
good.
to not to go through to the quarterfinals and
Hmm.
put that kind of a performance is mental. So
Yeah, yeah,
for me, they fully deserve it. But it's hard to play with a club that has the best goalkeeper in the world.
yeah. Hmm.
Of
Yeah,
course, Alisson Becker.
yeah.
This is not bias for me. He's the best in the world currently. So
But
um,
that first game,
yeah,
was. unbelievable. I struggled to see a better goalkeeping performance in the last 10 years. He's kept you in. I've never seen Liverpool get dominated so badly, and then you guys have come away with a result. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was just honestly. For me, that was just him. He knows when to get players in, when to get players out of the pitch.
Yeah.
And that proved to be a tactical intelligence for him, because there was one game, I think in Carabao Cup. I don't know, we played against, I don't know who, but we were it was drawn 2-2, I think, or 1-1. And then he got Kostas Tsimikas in for Robertson.
Yeah.
And the Greek Scouser delivered a beautiful corner, and we scored.
Yeah, so I remember that, actually. I remember the assist.
I don't know how Slot does it, but he's a genius.
Yeah. It's
I had a friend.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Sorry?
Yeah. But listen, I have a friend.
Yeah.
And he said, of course, on Serbian, because I live there. He said that Premier League is not Eredivisie, and he put Liverpool on his rankings 6th.
It's interesting because, again, so are you saying he put Liverpool ranking 6 like right now in the world right now, or before the season started?
In the world. You mean what would I rank them, or
no, your friend. Yeah, is he talking about now in the world right now?
No, at the start of the season.
At the start of the season, yeah. To be fair, a lot of people said the same thing. Your friend wasn't crazy. A lot of people said the same thing. A lot of people were saying new manager, kind of new setup, anything kind of fifth tactics, anything like fifth, sixth makes sense. But then obviously on a slot, what a start to the season too. You guys conceded 2 goals in your first 8 games, I think it was, which was unbelievable. It was such a ridiculous start to the season. It just shows that a bit of class coming in from the manager does change things, and it looked good. So just moving on, I'm curious. So Gameweek 30 coming up. I want to know who's your captain. So currently it's Salah. Is it likely to stay Salah?
It's hard to say because, Everton, they like to steal. They like to do many things, but I'm not going to mention that game at Goodies. But listen, I have 3 captain ideas. One of them is risky. 2 of them, I don't know if they're risky. First is, of course, Mohamed Salah.
Mohamed Salah, yeah, of course.
The second one, Marmoush.
Yeah.
And the third one is Isak.
Interesting.
For me, Isak is most likely not to be captain, just because of his return from injury. I mean, he did score versus Liverpool in the final.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to speak about that game anymore, but listen, it's sad.
It is very sad being a Liverpool fan at the moment.
There's so much, and you just lose 2 competitions in 1 week.
Yeah. So this is where I was curious, is because are they on the down, or is it just the case now that they're just going to be able to focus all their attention on the Premier League? So, I mean, I think you're 11 points clear or something like that.
I see Liverpool bottle the league.
Nah. And do you know what's funny? I've heard it like this. I've heard it that, watch, Liverpool bottle the league and then Nottingham Forest win it.
This was a joke, but
I know. But could you imagine Arsenal all this time? They're second. They finished second last season. They're really going for it. And then this season, Liverpool, they actually do bottle it by the end of it. But then Nottingham Forest come over.
I can't see Forest come over Liverpool, but I've seen Arsenal win the league, but it's still Arsenal on the Arsenal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
no offense to Arsenal fans that are watching this, but uh, I think Liverpool will win the league. Arsenal try next season when we don't have those free players, sadly. And yeah, that's it.
yeah, yeah.
Can we move over to your captain?
Yeah, move over to my captain. So currently, I'm in two minds whether I'm doing a wild card or not. So as it stands, I've got Mohamed Salah as well. So let me see if I can. Yeah, so I've actually got Mohamed Salah as well as my captain.
Yeah, I'm not changing.
Yeah, so I've got Mohamed Salah, but if I do the wild card, it's likely that I'll probably bring in Haaland, and if I bring in Haaland, he might be the captain.
Trust me, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Do you know what? You say that.
You don't want to bring Haaland because he is so expensive. And
He's very expensive. He's very expensive, but we're going into the back end of the season, right? And
yes.
the back end of the season is when Pep Roulette kicks in. That's when we don't know. We don't know who's going to play. Sorry, say again.
Well, I said City won't finish in top 4, and that Pep tactical intelligence won't work because all the time it was his wife, the tactical genius.
You think? You think his wife was a tactical genius?
He's so bad. He's so bad.
He's terrible. And then now that him and his wife are splitting.
When he doesn't have money, he's so bad.
Do you know what? So honestly, the way I'm looking at this, FPL Mandem, the way I'm looking at this is, with City, we know that they're going to score goals to a degree, at least at the moment. They have been scoring goals. It's been free flowing football. They just do concede as well. So I'm not focused too much on their defense, but I'm thinking as far as going forward, I like Marmoush. So I'm like you. I really like Marmoush, right? But they've got Marmoush, they've got Savinho, they've got Doku. Grealish isn't an issue anymore. I think something's happening with him. Foden, De Bruyne, they've got all these players that are forward players, right? And he has to give them kind of space to live. But the only attacker they have is Erling Haaland. So when it comes to the end of the season, when we don't know who's going to play, because Marmoush, just 2 games ago, he started on the bench and came in at like 60 minutes and got 1 point. So, and then the next game, he goes and he scores and whatever. It's like, he's just so inconsistent. Whereas Haaland, we know he's going to play and his underlying stats are good. This is, I mean, I know it's expensive, but you're paying for consistent playtime as opposed to like loads of goals.
Yeah, I feel you, but that's like saying I had Enzo Fernandes all season.
Mm-hmm.
He's cheap. He plays every game, but he won't return.
But Enzo's underlying stats aren't the same as Haaland's. He's talking about 0.68 expected goals in his last 5. That's no joke. He's one of the highest in the league.
Enzo?
No, Haaland. Haaland's got 0.68 expected goals in the last 5, right? That's like the highest in the league. So it's not like he's not doing his thing. He's scoring, but the problem is he's only scoring 1 goal. He's not really hauling, is he?
Yeah, but if we are speaking like that, those are just expected goals.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, those are just expected goals. You can't trust based on expected goals.
No,
you need a player to deliver. You need to know he will score.
For sure. But the way I look at it, so as far as the way I'm seeing expected goals, right, is the way the expected goals is put together is based on so many different factors of how the player's getting in the box, where the player's getting the ball, how many shots the player's taken. But to your point, I will give you this, that Palmer, right? If you look at Palmer's expected goals, is 0.68, the same as Haaland. Palmer's expected goals is 0.68, same as Haaland. And his actual goals is 0. His actual
That's why
assists is 0.
I'm not selling him. Still, I'm not selling him.
Yeah. But his
I don't
underlying
want to
stats are great. His underlying stats are great, but he's lacking confidence. So it's so difficult. It's so difficult, even to the point like now you've got him on the bench. I think he's is he injured? I haven't seen too much about him.
But he is not in England squad for the League of Nations.
Yeah.
He is staying at London for the recovery or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean,
hopefully he'll be back.
To interviews from Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard. He is staying at. He is currently in London, and they are seeing how serious the injury is. If it's really serious, I'm selling him. If he's able to recover for the 1st April,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to keep him. Plus, Chelsea don't have really bad fixtures. I mean, they have now Spurs. Of course, I'm not going to play him versus Spurs, but they have Brentford, Ipswich, Everton, Fulham, which are really good game weeks for Chelsea.
Yeah. If Palmer can get his form back, they're very, very good fixtures for him. Yeah.
But the catch is the last 4 game weeks are Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United, and Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, but I think by then we'd have moved them out. I think by then we're thinking of moving them out.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, a lot can change. A lot can change between now and then as well. A lot can change between now and then. So you reckon if so this comes back to something I was just about to ask you, if you think you'll make any last minute changes, because obviously you've made your change already, but this would mean a -4. So you reckon if Palmer takes a hit, if Palmer is injured, you might take a hit and move him out?
I won't take a hit.
Well, you'd have to if you move him out this week.
No, because I am planning. That's why I want to ask you to move on to chip strategy.
Yeah, we can move on to chip strategy.
If you're open to. So my chip strategy is to wildcard, which is my last chip.
Yeah.
Sadly, I used all the chips really bad. I mean, I used free hit on a basic game week.
Oof.
And they got like 40 points.
Oh no, FPL Mandem.
41. 41. which was I felt like pilot at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, why wild card? I saw pilot. Why do you wild card?
Yeah, and then you making your free hits.
It wasn't a blank game week. It wasn't anything. It was a normal game week.
Yeah.
And he just wild carded and got like 56 points or something.
Yeah. Didn't his wild card though? He forgot. He forgot his He forgot it, didn't he? He didn't make the decision. He thought he had more time than he did.
Yes.
And didn't make the final decisions. So you could have done better actually if he actually did it properly.
Yeah, shout out to Pilot, by the way.
Shout out to Pilot and BTS, big fans.
Big shout out.
Yeah, be on the sidelines, guys. Yeah. Be on the sidelines. If you don't know about them, search them up. They're in podcasts.
Yeah,
really,
on
like
social, we have Instagram.
Yeah, man,
TikTok,
for sure.
YouTube.
So you're thinking wildcards potentially this week, or because you don't have your free hit, so you're not going to potentially dead end into game week 34?
I was planning to wildcard, I don't know, 32, 34. Depends on the FA Cup games.
100%. Changes everything. FA Cup games change everything.
I saw your videos, TikTok, you post them yesterday.
Yeah.
About those FA Cup games, and I thought, oh yes, those FA Cup games. So you reminded me, thanks.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
We have, I think, Man City and who they play against.
So Man City and Bournemouth. Is it Man
Yes,
City, Bournemouth,
Aston
Preston?
Villa plays with or Crystal Palace. I don't know who.
Let me have a look. I'm trying to think of who the fixtures are again because I've got it all. I've got it all here. So Preston play Villa, Bournemouth play City,
Okay.
Fulham play Palace, and Brighton play Forest.
So if I got it right, if Villa win,
yeah,
they double.
Villa double. Yeah, Villa double and blank in 34. So they blank in 34 and they double in possibly 33 or 30. This is where we need to find out. So we for sure know that they'll blank.
36 based on those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and if City win, I think they double.
So City is an interesting one because Man City and Villa are almost guaranteed a double and a blank because Manchester City play Bournemouth in game week 34.
Yes.
Oh no, do they? No, they play Aston Villa, I think, in game week 34. So if Aston Villa go through, then Man City is automatically they're automatically blank. It doesn't matter if they lose to Bournemouth. The only way Manchester City and Aston Villa won't blank in 34 is if Preston beat Aston Villa and Bournemouth beat Man City. You have to have both of those things.
That won't happen.
Yeah, you have to have both of those things happen for the for the blank not to happen. So likely Aston Villa and Man City will go through, and then this is where it gets interesting because then we start talking about Fulham and Crystal Palace. Now, if Fulham go through, that changes everything because these Palace assets, they do double, but they won't double again, and a lot of people are going to have Crystal Palace players.
Yeah, everyone is now buying Crystal Palace players.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I saw some keeping Mateta, bring in Munoz, bring in Sar.
100%.
But one interesting thing is nobody, where I saw, nobody got Eze.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
So the thing about Eze is I don't think many people want to double up in midfield with Crystal Palace. And between Ismail Assar and Eze, it's just his form currently is too good to ignore Ismail Assar.
Yes.
So a lot of people they're going Mateta up top, one midfielder, and maybe one defender or Henderson.
Well, yes, but
yeah.
One thing is I noticed from the start of the season, he had Eze being so popular.
Yeah.
And no returning.
Nothing. He was awful.
Whenever he shot towards the goal, it was a crossbar or it was a post.
Don't even get me started on this because I had him because I thought he was going to do well. He ended the season so well.
He is so unlucky this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, having him isn't a problem, but if you want bigger points, I can consider switching him with Sar.
Yeah, I really like Sar this week personally.
Sar is in good form, good fixtures, really good fixtures.
Yeah,
I think they have they have Southampton, then they have Brighton, and then they have a double game week.
Double game week,
Newcastle,
and then another potential double game week back to back. If they beat Fulham, if they beat Fulham in the FA Cup, they could have that Southampton game, the next game, the double in 32, and then another double in 33.
Well, yeah, but one thing I just wanted to say another thing.
Yeah.
About the double game week for Crystal Palace. Since they have City and Newcastle away, both games away.
Yeah.
I don't reckon Crystal Palace defenders will have a clean sheet in both of those games.
Yeah.
But one thing is certain, and that thing is, no matter how hard the fixtures are, you have to have double game week players.
Yeah. It's just
Because
if you can bring them in. Yeah.
If you have a player that plays 90 minutes, you're guaranteed 4 points on that player. I mean, think about it. When we had the Everton Liverpool double, I got Mikolenko in. He had first he had Leicester, then he had Liverpool. Nobody expected anything from Liverpool, and then all of a sudden Beto scores a goal, Tarkovsky scores a goal. I don't want to talk about that game anymore.
Yeah. But FPL wise,
FPL wise, that was a really good game week, especially for those Tarkovsky owners.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to get double players in the team, because that's at least 4 points from that player. Plus, you can be lucky and get a goal involvement or a clean
exactly.
sheet.
You could get something. Anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? Anything can happen.
You can't rely just on the content creators from FPL, from us, from the guys who give you advices. You need to have your own opinion, your own thoughts, and you need to have your own luck.
Exactly. This is why I like using data, because I can tell you. So I can get FPL Mandem. I like Ismail Assar, and the reason I like Ismail Assar is because I can look at his XG 0.89, his XA 0.2, and then his expected goals non-penalty 0.89. I can go, look, I like that. I've seen him play. I like his form at the moment. I like his data. But I then also say, with the likes of Bruno Fernandes, and I'll go, look, I don't like his underlying data. I personally don't. But it's up to you. If you feel like he's going to continue this run of form, that's a gut decision. Don't listen to me.
It's all about faith.
Don't listen to me. Follow those gut decisions, because those gut decisions, if you make them wisely, takes you to great ranks.
Well, yeah, but listen, one game week, I had Cells in my starting lineup.
Yeah.
And Pickford on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just checking out the teams from the content creators, and they all had Pickford in starting lineup, and I just, if they have, why don't I? And I put Pickford in, Cells on the bench, and that proved to be a really big mistake, because Cells got 6 points and Pickford 2.
Yeah. But that happens.
People.
Yeah, you go with your gut. You go, this is what I think is going to happen. And this is what I constantly tell people, is like, what do you think is going to happen? How do you see it playing out? And then make your decisions like that. Because that's all you ultimately can do. You can watch so many different YouTube channels and you'll see conflicting advice. Just use the information that you've got and kind of just make your own decisions. It's interesting, because this is, at the moment, I'm working on a wildcard draft. So we can talk about my chip strategy at the moment. I've pretty much got all of my chips, right? So I've just used the assistant manager. So I've still got my wild card, I've still got my free hit, I've still got my triple captain, and I've still got my bench boost. So what I was planning on doing is potentially wild carding this week, and I've just put my team up on the screen, but I'll tell you what it is. So I've got Cells and Raya as my goalkeepers to rotate. I've got Guardiola, Munoz, and Jurian Timber, Mohamed Salah, Alanga, Marino. So this is just another wild card. This isn't the one I even think I'm going to use. It's just, we have to wait until the FA Cup, don't we? Until we know for sure. Yeah, exactly. So I'm getting some Man City in, I'm getting some Arsenal in, I'm getting Palace, I've got Newcastle. So I've got Ismail Assar, I've got Mateta, I've got Isaac, and I've got Haaland. And on the bench, I've got Murphy, Livramento, and Neco Williams. I like Neco Williams at the moment. I really like Neco Williams. He looks good, and he's low owned.
He's a really good cheap option.
4.4, and he's only 3.1% owned, as opposed to Aina, Aina is really highly owned at the moment. So it's one of those that the certain players, like even Timber, if Timber comes through, he's low owned, he's a differential. Do you know Ishmael Assar is a differential? He's like 3.9% owned. Mateta, 5.4% owned.
I had my own differential, which really paid off. It was Jacob Murphy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually captained him one game week.
That was bold.
We
Very
turned
bold.
27 points.
Ah, that's nice. When that happens, that's so nice.
That's so nice, yeah. And that was my first game week where I became content creator on FPL.
Yeah.
And the first guy who messaged me was FPL Mandem.
Yeah,
And
FPL
he told
Mandem.
like, bro, what made you captain Jacob Murphy? I'm so impressed. And I was like, I don't know, gut feeling. That's what I'm talking about, gut feelings.
Gut feelings, they work. Gut feelings, they work sometimes. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Gut feelings, they work. It's going to be interesting. So this next few game weeks now. So for example, obviously FA Cup, that changes everything. And then we've got the FA Cup, which happens on the 29th and the 30th of March. The game week 30 deadline is 2 days later. So we've got next to no time to make decisions. And then when game week 30 happens and ends, I believe game week 30 ends on the Thursday and starts game week 31 on the Saturday. So we've got like 2 days.
Well, yeah.
It's condensed, such a condensed schedule at the moment. So much opportunity for injuries as well.
It is, but I have one problem with FA Cup games. Is I don't know if a City win, if a Villa win, if they will blank, and that will be a problem for my team.
Yeah, because you don't have that free hit.
I don't have a free hit. I just have a wild card, which I will use, and then I won't have anything.
Yeah, you have to wait.
That's
you
the
have
problem.
to wait. Yeah, you have to wait until the FA Cup games are done, and then potentially dead end your team into game week 34, and then really it depends on Fulham. Fulham's gonna if Fulham beat Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
If Fulham beat Crystal Palace, then Crystal Palace don't double again, which means also they don't blank in game week 34, which means you can keep your Crystal Palace players and not worry about them blanking in 34. So that's 3 extra players that you'll have in 34 because you're worried about game week 34 blank. Who are you going to play? Because if you get, so for example, let's say Fulham, this is just for you now, right? Let's say Fulham beat Crystal Palace. Oh, that's annoying. My camera's just turned off. It got too hot. It's all right. I'll leave the camera off and we'll carry on with the conversation. It'll just, my camera will just go off halfway through. So let's say, right, Fulham beat Crystal Palace. If Fulham beat Crystal Palace, that means Crystal Palace don't blank in game week 34. If you wildcard and you bring in 3 Newcastle players, because they double in 32 or 33. Yeah, 32, they double. 3 Crystal Palace players, because they double. That's 6 players. And then you've got potentially, the only thing is you need to avoid Man City. You need to avoid Aston Villa. You need to avoid Nottingham Forest. Brighton, Bournemouth.
Big for City, Aston Villa. From Aston Villa, I think I got 9 players. Let's see, Aston Villa, I don't have anyone from Aston Villa. City, I have Marmoush only.
Yeah.
And what you say, Newcastle or Forest. From Forest, I have only Wood. So
yeah, so Nottingham Forest. So if Nottingham Forest beat Brighton, then you Nottingham Forest and Brentford blank, which means you need to avoid Nottingham Forest and Brentford. If
Brentford, I have Kevin Shade, but he's on bench.
Yeah.
That talk about that Kevin Schade captaining.
Kevin Schade, captain.
You know about it?
No, what happened?
Yeah, I put him captain. When was it? I think it was game week 27.
Yeah, how'd that work?
No. That was game week. Yeah, game week 26, where I put Kevin Schade captain,
Yeah,
and he could have gotten me like 20 plus points, but he got 2 shots. One
yeah,
was blocked, was going top right.
yeah.
It would be a banker. And he hit someone in the shoulder.
Oh,
And
and
the
then
second
deflect. Yeah.
time he hit the post.
Ah, it's
So
it's the thing.
it
We can talk
wasn't a bad
about.
prediction,
Yeah,
but I needed luck there.
yeah, bit of luck, and I feel like that's the story of any Palmer owner at the moment. Is I feel like you need something to go your way. I feel like you need something to go your
Well,
way.
yeah, I'm not telling him still.
Yeah,
If his injury is serious, I am more than happy to sell him
yeah.
because he is so expensive.
He's very
But
expensive.
still, you don't know when he will turn up, if he will turn up.
Yeah, and if he does, he's got 3 or 4 goals in him. That one game he
Yeah.
hauled. It's one of those things. You just gotta keep the faith. Sometimes you gotta keep the faith. And
I'm starting to believe that fate is not in the way of Palmer owners.
no, do you know what? I was exactly the same, so I got rid of him. Okay, so let's move on. And what I'll do is we'll use this last little bit because we're coming to the end. We'll use this last little bit to just talk about a favorite Premier League player of all time. Who is yours? Who's your kind of, when you think of, this is my favorite Premier League player, who's your favorite?
Sadio Mane.
Mane. Do you know what? That's a shout. That's a shout because I really, really liked watching Mane play.
Growed up from when I started supporting Liverpool, I was just, is Mane playing? I want to see him play. And the best game I saw from Mane was that Bayern Munich game where he turned up Neuer. I don't know if you remember, but that was a crazy game.
I don't remember specifically, but
we beat
know.
Bayern.
Yeah.
And Mane, he delivered. He delivered. And the first time I watched Liverpool was 2018 mid-season.
Yeah.
The season where Liverpool were in the Champions League final versus Real Madrid. And mid-season, I started to really support football, to watch it, and I was 8 years old. And
yeah, and the rest is history. Liverpool fan. You're enjoying it, being top of the league at the moment. You've got Mohamed Salah
all the waiting has paid off.
Yeah, you got Mohamed Salah having the season of his life.
Won the Premier League.
Oh, season of his life this season. I mean, I tell you what, that's a very good shout. I really like Mohamed Salah. My vision of Sadio Mane. My vision of Sadio Mane is just someone that works so hard, and he connected that left-hand side so well that even when Salah went missing, you could always trust Mane to come out and work hard. And then you had Firmino, who just linked everything in the middle. Oh, I remember those.
Firmino too.
I remember those. Oof.
Had some arguing when I was on live on BTS. Had some arguing over who's better, Firmino or Aubameyang.
Yeah, I think Firmino over Aubameyang.
Yeah, Firmino all the way, but
yeah,
it's not biased. It's just my opinion. But you can't compare them.
They're different players.
Firmino is an attacking midfielder, center forward. Aubameyang, he's a striker.
Yeah, out and out, pace striker.
That's why you can't compare Messi and Ronaldo. If you compare them, Messi is better. He scored more goals from the wing.
Yeah.
For me.
So it's an interesting conversation, the Messi and Ronaldo one, because they do have similar positions in the sense of Ronaldo played on the wing in his career, Messi played on the wing in his career, Ronaldo played up top in his career, Messi played up top in his career, but never at the same time.
Never at the same time.
They all.
And you can compare because Messi is 2 years younger than Ronaldo. That's 2 years of still playing, but Messi has earlier finished his career and he's America's.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I don't count any of the Saudi goals that Ronaldo's counting at the moment, but I also don't count any of the Inter Miami goals or assists that Messi's getting. I think we need to have this conversation.
That's too easy for them. That is too easy.
Yeah, it's not even just too easy. It's just it's different. It's like a completely different setup. Ronaldo's just out there doing his thing, scoring goals. I don't even think Messi's paying attention half the time. I think he just shows up. He's chilling in his villa in Miami, relaxing, having a conversation with David Beckham. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go play some football now. He does his thing. Goes, I'm a little tight today. I don't feel like playing. Okay, no worries, Messi. You don't have to play today. This guy's living a different life at the moment. So I think we enjoyed. I'm a little bit older than you, so I got to enjoy Messi and Ronaldo for a long time. Which is also comes down to my selection, and I was thinking about this last night, and I was thinking about it's between Cristiano Ronaldo and Thierry Henry. For me, my favorite Premier League players of all time, and
Thierry Henry.
I think I lean towards Thierry Henry as a Premier League favorite.
Legend, yeah. You can't say that Thierry Henry isn't a legend.
Oh, he is one of the legends.
One of the greats.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, he's one of the best Premier League has ever seen.
Yeah, and will be. He's a certain kind of player that I don't think exists anymore. You
can't have a player like Thierry Henry.
Yeah, he's so good. What he made you feel as well. See, this is the difference: is when you're watching these players, right, at the time, and you feel the way they play. This is why my favorite player of all time is Ronaldinho. So Ronaldinho is my favorite player of all time across the board. The way he made me feel when I watched him play football. The only person I ever got that from outside of Ronaldinho, well, actually there's two, was Messi and was Neymar.
That's it.
Between those three, those are the only players that made me feel something special. I didn't watch Thierry Henry like loads when I was young, but I saw him enough to think, do you know what? This guy is special. The way he moves the ball, the way he thinks about the game. I'm such a big fan. And I'm even more of a fan after his career, now that he's doing the punditry and he talks in interviews and the way he carries himself. I'm just such a big fan. I really like Thierry.
He's a combination of a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
He has a big mentality, which is really important in football. Mm-hmm. Always confident, always believes in himself.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Zlatan. I really think.
Yeah.
His mentality is
super
really
confident.
Close to Zlatan. I mean, Zlatan is on another level, but he reminds me. He's so confident.
I like a lot of people don't like Zlatan. I really like Zlatan. I feel like he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. His
origins are from Balkan. I mean, how cannot you like?
Yeah, I really like him. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Zlatan.
Maybe one Balkan footballer that you hate. You can't.
No, it's an interesting character. I will say that. He's an interesting character. You see him in training where he's like head kicking other players and stuff.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. Okay, so
I think. Can I say just one thing?
Yeah. What's up?
about my favorite player.
Yeah, go for it.
That isn't from Premier League.
Yeah.
Which I really like is Cavani.
Oh, Edson.
Yeah.
Edson Cavani.
That guy is special. I mean, when I watched him in League One, he was really good.
Yeah.
All those fights with Neymar, Mbappe.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he was
really
fiery, wasn't he? He's a fiery character.
Yeah, he's a fire character, and now I think he plays. Where does he play?
I don't even know. I've not heard his
Last time I saw
name
him play
in a long time.
Juniors, I don't know.
Yeah, I've not heard his name. Does he still play for Uruguay? Does he still play for his international team? I'm not even sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I haven't seen his name in a while. But do you know what? He's very, very strong mentality kind of player. You knew you're going to get hard work from him, which is what I liked about Edson. I really like watching Edson Cavani play. Yeah, it was very... Do you know what? There's some players out there we could go on. We could have this conversation all day long, I think, about our favorite players. Yeah. About our favorite players. And honestly, I'm hopeful that we're going to see some more in the future, but I'm unsure because the way football's played at the moment, it worries me. I'm not going to lie, but I don't want to go into too much more because we'll be here for forever. Let's you got things to do after this. Yeah. We've spoken about a few things today, and you know what, FPL Mandem, I've really enjoyed speaking to you. It's we'll do this again at some point. It's been loads of fun. Do you want to tell us like what socials are you on? What socials are you on? It's just TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. If you follow him, follow FPL Mandem on TikTok, FPL Mandem. If you just type it up.
Follow this guy. Follow this guy too. He's a real expert at FPL.
Who's that? Sorry.
I said you're a big expert at FPL.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
He's ranked one day, so.
Yeah. Do you know what? We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this at the end of the season. FPL Mandem. We'll have another conversation, and we'll see where we finish and how things go. Go do like a little season roundup, season finish, and I'll talk to you soon. I really appreciate it, FPL Mandem. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a good day.